I've talked a lot about the second mind, critical reading versus non-critical reading, and I've made non-critical reading or superficial or reading for facts seem kind of inferior. But in fact, it's the foundation for all reading. If you're reading something you don't know what it says, good luck trying to figure out anything deeper about it. So one of the skills you definitely have to make sure you've got and to work on if you don't have it is the ability to paraphrase. And that is the ability to read something and then say to yourself, what did this just say? In your own words and your own way of understanding it. And that is getting what the text says. And once you can do that, then you can get to the deeper levels. So even though I stress a lot these deeper levels, because most of the questions are going to be about what the text does and what the text means, rather than just what it says. Most of the questions are those deeper level questions. That's why I focus on it. But we still need to have this foundational skill. So I'm going to run through this short SAT reading passage. There's no questions. I'm just going to run through it and show you what paraphrasing looks like when it's done sentence by sentence. Estimates of the number of humans that Earth can sustain have ranged in recent decades from fewer than a billion to more than a trillion. Okay, we start out by saying that people have come up with these different estimates for how many humans can live on Earth, and it's anywhere from less than a billion to more than a trillion, so a really wide range. Such elasticity is probably unavoidable, since carrying capacity is essentially a subjective term. So now it's trying to explain, okay, well, why is there this range? Well, it's probably unavoidable, because there's some subjectivity to this idea of carrying capacity. It makes little sense to talk about carrying capacity in relationship to humans, who are capable of adapting and altering both their culture and their physical environment, and can thus defy any formula that might settle the matter. So here we see, well, why does carrying capacity not really make sense? Well, it doesn't really make sense for humans because we're very adaptable. So what might apply to ants or some other creature doesn't apply to us because we can change. How many people we can fit on Earth would depend on culture and environment, all these kinds of things. So it's not hard, or it's not easy to get any formula that would define this carrying capacity, that would tell us how many people could fit on Earth. The number of people that Earth can support depends on how we on Earth want to live, on what we want to consume, and on what we regard as a crowd. So again, how many people we can live with depends on all these factors, right? It's not just some fixed number. It's going to depend on what we consider a good life, what we want to eat, what we consider to be crowded, all these kinds of issues. So that's a paraphrase, right? I didn't say anything super new about what the passage is saying. I'm just rephrasing what it said in its own words. And as I'm doing that, I'm getting an understanding of what the text says. And then I can go into a discussion about what it's doing and what it means. Right? So the ability to paraphrase is really important. Again, on the SAT, you can't do that sentence by sentence. So it's a skill that you build and you kind of do, if not unconsciously, at least you do quickly as you're reading through. And you're kind of summarizing the sentences and the paragraphs and the thing you're reading as you go. So develop that, focus on that, and you'll do really well on the reading sections.